Dyke Michael's making food, and he's making comedy too. Thaddeus J. McKee is co-hosting with the guy I mentioned previously. Sauce Boss Zach's on the 1 to 2, so good he calls them 2s and 3s. And as always, there's a guest who'll be sure to please on Harder Brunch. Harder Brunch. Yeah, you're listening to Harder Brunch. Harder Brunch. Harder Brunch. Yeah, you're listening to Harder Brunch.
No, you're fine.
Okay, cool.
I'm just throwing curveballs at you, Tyler. Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels. With me, as always, my co-host, Thaddeus J. McKee.
Hey, slappy, slappy, one wham.
On the 1s and 2s, the wheels of steel, again, not here. The sauce boss is still with his brand new baby.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Can you believe the selfishness of some people?
It is very selfish.
What the hell?
So Tyler Waltz here is sitting in from the after brunch to the big show today.
Yeah, I'll do my best. No
Sitting
promises.
Well, there's been some concern so far.
Yeah. Like, first off, am I on the shot?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Could you take him out of it? Could we do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I thought we discussed would not be any more shots.
And a very special guest with us in studio, Chef Stephen Unruh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Very excited to have you on today's program. And I apologize. I want to do I had some things that was neglected on my fault from last week. We did not mention anything about the brand new theme song and the fact that it was written for us by a fan of the show, a gentleman named Nasty Nate Thompson. He's a very talented musician. He's the lead singer of a band called Dear Lincoln. Very talented. He's actually done several podcasts, like parody songs and stuff for different, way bigger shows, and some way smaller shows. Just everything in between. He's a terrific musician. Bit of a creep. Yeah. He's stares a little bit too long.
Yeah. Like Batman. The new Batman.
Like the new Batman.
I'm Nate.
It's like, quit looking at that kid.
Yeah.
Who are
Let's
you?
go.
Nasty. He's a nasty man, but hell of a song, very catchy. I think that he thinks that because he got in the hip hop game that he can use some of our words now, and I had to keep telling him, like, no, you still can't say it, bro.
Oh, he asked to use that word.
Yeah, he asked for the hood pass, and I was like, you're gonna have to do at least 10 more songs.
He's like, but it's for you.
He said it's for the culture.
Where is she?
So I hope that covered everything, Nasty Nate. I'm sorry we forgot you last week, but
Yeah.
big thank you. And second of all, it's time for a shame.
Wait, already?
Oh yeah,
That's early for a shame.
it's
Shame.
That's
Shame.
what?
oh, you could let that run.
Oh, okay.
Next time. That's all right. Strike 2. So Stephen, we do these shames whenever anyone feels that someone needs to be shamed. It's usually someone sitting at this table that's done something, or someone in the room that's not even on mic. But this time, the shame actually goes to the audience.
Oh.
This is the first time I'm going to shame Brunch Nation.
Wait, we're shaming our audience?
I'm shaming the entirety of Brunch Nation.
Oh my gosh.
Seems like a
That's
good PR move.
Yeah, we should have talked about this.
It's a shame because I had 2 free tickets that I gave out to a Red Flag comedy show with Manny McKelvey, and I only had one person reach out to accept them.
Well,
And
come on.
What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing with our weekends that's better than a free comedy show? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're going to be ramping up here, especially giving stuff out. We got a lot of events, a lot of fun stuff come out. You need to jump on this stuff, all right? When we do these hot drops, whether it be merch, whether it be tickets, whether it be invites to come do fun stuff, you abandon your families, you drop whatever you're doing, and you slide into those DMs, okay?
And that show was last night, right?
It was, and it was a hot show.
It was good?
Yeah, it sold out.
How did Manny do?
She did great.
Amazing, as always.
Yeah, she never misses.
She doesn't.
Like, you're going to get an opportunity to see some people that are going to be famous sometime, you know, like soon.
Very soon.
And you should jump on these opportunities. So,
shout out to Dustin for running that show.
yeah, Dustin Burkert. So yeah, shame, Brunch Nation. Let's just be better, okay? Let's hit that shame one more time.
Shame.
Let it ride.
Shame.
Then you feel it.
Shame.
Ooh, I'm starting to hear it.
Shame.
Trying to feel it too. Stop it! Stop it! It's got too far. That's enough.
I was making up for last time.
Thank you, Tyler. That was great. Chef Stephen Underwood, welcome to the program.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And for the people that don't know you, you are the. Go ahead and tell me your
Here it is.
what your
So,
position is officially.
Yeah, officially culinary director at Sun King Brewing. They've been around since, now 2009.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
2009 years. Wow.
Yes, 2009 years, just as long as beer, actually. Here in Indianapolis, they were one of the first, downtown Indianapolis breweries to open up in 2009. And I've been there just a little over 6 years. So culinary director is the term. And then it just goes off the rails from there. So technically, I'm their lunch lady.
Well, a lot of people do ask me when I say that. They're like, "Well, I don't eat food there, so what is exactly is he cooking?"
Yeah, we're also not in the business of opening restaurants, just breweries. So about 9 years ago now, Clay Robinson, Dave Colt, the owners of the place, saw that their canning line was running 14, 15-hour days, and they were just bringing in Jimmy John's, all of the razzmatazz, easy food to get a hold of, and they're like, well, if we're going to be doing this, serious about canning, we should probably feed these guys. And so that just kind of started a lunch program. And they had it catered in for about 2.5 years, and they were spending a wonderful amount of money with a lot of businesses. And of course, then they looked at the program. The brewery was even growing bigger. They probably had 50 or 60 full-time employees. And then they decided, hey, we know chefs. Somebody will be stupid enough to come in and actually take literal, an oven from every single person's first apartment ever. That black glass top, that was the first oven. And then a sink. And that was the first 2 months of my job, feeding about 60 people. And then, of course, we have graduated into a bigger oven. And still the same oven with the stovetop.
2 sinks.
Yeah. And an actual double bay sink. But no, so I do feed the full-time staff there 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So I kind of shop and gather everything on Monday. Tuesday through Thursday, they have lunch. If you're a full-time employee there, you just get to eat lunch for free. Come hang out. And then on Fridays, we professionally heat up all the leftovers, and that's pretty much it. So there's almost zero food waste. And I don't know, I guess in where we are in downtown, there's not a ton of restaurants around there. Mm-hmm. So even if you were to leave for lunch, it's probably a good hour and 15-minute experience. And then after that, you still have to come back. So here we just do it all in house and then take everybody there. So it's this, it's basically, one.
it's part one is this really cool lunch that 99.9% of you will never get a chance to eat no matter what.
Literally, I mean, unless you know somebody that works at Sun King and you're super nice with them, nobody ever eats my food, which is also funny and hilarious because I guess I used to.
Wait, they do guest passes for employees?
Yes, it's just me.
Okay.
And it's just come to my door and just grab some lunch.
All
Whatever.
right.
But we change the menu every single week. And of course, being the culinary director, being a chef in a brewery helps out a lot of things. We do have a slushy program at all of our locations. We also have cocktails now that we have a distillery up in Carmel. So I help with cocktail programs and slushy recipes. And it's honestly just a lot of recipe writing. And I used to have a YouTube channel. Little Cooking with Sun King situation, but I just filmed the last episode 2 weeks ago. So
nice.
No need to promote any of that. Shout out to the 4 people that used to watch all of my videos. I'll give a cheers to you.
I like how if you put program after anything, it sounds so much more professional. They're
Yeah.
Lunch program, slushy program.
Yeah.
I've never heard the phrase slushy program before.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is it's one thing for me to create a recipe and throw it in a slushy machine.
Yeah.
When you have 7 locations, you have to make sure that it's this
They're
thing
all
that
uniform.
that goes out months in advance so they can gather ingredients. And so it started as hey, we have slushy machines that we want to put booze in. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. And now we're hey, we have 7 locations with slushy machines that we need to put booze in. So
And I've played around a little bit in that, and I don't think people quite understand how difficult it is to make a craft cocktail and a slushy come out exactly the way you want it and to taste right and have the right consistency.
Yeah, and it also obviously depends on the slushy machine. The ones that we have spin the ingredients at a very high amount. So if there's too much sugar in there, they just freeze up. The ones that you see in like the gas station go much slower. So you can load those things with sugar because that's pretty much all they are. But like the kids down at Blackacre have some of the best slushy cocktails in the city. Shout out to that whole program because those frozen aviations are life. But we are tasked with
It's
taking
walking distance from our studio.
Oh, it's so good. The Blackacre Garden is awesome.
It's right there. We should do that after the show.
Yeah. But yeah, their frozen cocktails are great, but it's very difficult because if you get the water content wrong, the sugar content wrong, all of it wrong, it just seizes or it never freezes. And
how many times have you done that before? Messed up. You don't have to say, but
dozens at least.
Dozens?
Well, yeah, because you always have like really good ideas and you're like, oh my God, I want to do an orange creamsicle slushy.
Right.
But you're taking dairy and citrus, you're taking acid and milk. And when you combine the two for a little bit, they're great. But if you keep churning them, they turn into butter. Like the acid coagulates the dairy, and then it turns into cheese, and then it becomes like a literal cheese fountain. It's disgusting. So yeah, there's been lots of mess ups and lots of recipe writes and all sorts of stuff.
well, that sounds like a good thing. Alcoholic butter.
Right.
I think there's a niche group that would like to have that.
Well, the weed butter people would like to have a word with you because it's much easier and it's probably a lot less messy for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk to them.
So you brought some kind of a hodgepodge of some wonderful beers in here for us to sample today. Are there any specific that you'd like to explain what they were?
Oh, sure. So we have a really awesome, we call it the King's Reserve program. In the brewery world, you are either brewing clean beer or beer that will be soured or barrel aged or something like that. So they are, if you've ever been to the downtown Sun King campus, we have 2 separate buildings that also create beer. The very big one, which everyone comes and sees, that's our production facility. We produce anywhere from like 30 to 35,000 liquid barrels of beer there a year. And when I say that, your giant kegs that we've all done keg stands off on all that stuff, that's a half barrel of beer. So that's your reference point. So 60 to 75,000 barrels of those a year.
It's a lot of keg stands.
It's a lot of keg stands. But that affords us the opportunity to take some of those beers and wild age them with wild yeasts, wine barrel age them, bourbon barrel age them. And that program is always a lot of fun. Shout out Andrew Hood. He's our wood handler. That's his official title on the business card. Handles a lot of wood over there.
I used to be a wood handler. It was a different type of wood.
Yeah. Balsam?
No, it was. I don't need to say it. That's for the after brunch.
But yes, so his job is to take really good beer and either sour it and make it even more delicious, or barrel age it and also even make it more delicious. But we brought 2 today. One is called Golden Girls. So thank you all for being a friend. And it is a white wine barrel aged Belgian triple with golden raspberries. So we age that beer in the wine barrels for about 24 months, and it produces this really wonderful lactic acid flavor that we all know and love as sour beer. And then it gets about 800 pounds of golden raspberries. And then the other one we have not released yet, at least at the timing of this particular podcast, and that's our horchata version of our Shadowproof stout. So we do
so good.
Thank you. So I had nothing to do with it. I just feed the people that make the thing. So it's our Shadowproof, which is our really big kind of November Black Friday big beer release with this wonderful kind of horchata tea. So it's almonds and cinnamon and all of the wonderful spices, and there's a lot of really good stuff in there. But it is for a beer, it's like over 14%.
Yeah. I will say this: Sun King's seasonals are always so amazing. I feel like Sun King gets into this area of like they're kind of like the Yankees, where it's just like always good, always executing at the highest level, and then kind of get like critically acclaimed.
Sure.
But then kind of like it's not cool sometimes to like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're so good that it's not cool. But I'm always singing the praise. I love all Sun King's beers, but especially like the seasonals and stuff, I feel like don't get the praise that they should on some of them, because like
and with breweries, like
that's
everyone
where the
always
fun
has,
happens.
absolutely,
You know, it's
100%.
like cream ale pays the bills, but
Just like a restaurant, like you have the 4 dishes that keep you alive and that people know and come back from, but it's the chefs and the brewer's ability to create on the fly. And we brought a whole bunch of really fun hoppy stuff. We even brought good old Crispy 500 because you need a track beer.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes, like, for as awesome as craft beer is, there are so many flavors. Sometimes we just want good cold beer. beer.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing. And we drink it all the time. And so we love brewing the lagers. But we love doing it all. So thank you. Absolutely.
That's awesome. And I do want to go off that Yankee stuff. So if Sun King is the Yankees, is like Blackacre the White Sox?
I mean, I don't think that, except, I mean, when I was, working at breweries and stuff, it more often seems like the rising tide raises all boats. Like if one of us is doing well, we're all doing well.
Okay.
Versus like the brewery across the street needs to do bad, so we do better.
Yeah, I mean, we're also like we want to keep everything kind of in the state of Indiana for sure. I mean, this is where most of our distro happens. This is where a lot of our beer is consumed. So we always love taking care of the home team for sure.
Yeah.
As opposed to like trying to like take something that's very good for Indianapolis and Indiana, especially, and then just get it everywhere else.
Okay.
Like, yes, we do have locations in other places
Sure.
that are getting ready to open, but for the most part, like Indiana's like the home. Like we want to make sure that cream ale is just as regular on a tap as High Life, Yingling, like all the other things, all of the big beer stuff. And so we do get that occasionally. Like we kind of get passed over because they're just Sun King. Like, oh, hey, like those guys have been around forever. They already have my money, whatever. But we do. There are still a lot of really awesome people there working really hard to make really delicious seasonal beer.
My favorite thing is I work part-time as like an event bartender. I've been a bartender for years. But when people come in and they're just like, I'll take a Sun King. Yeah. It's my favorite. Like,
Yeah,
what are we talking?
Give me that cream ale.
They make lots of beers. Did want to talk about the food real quick.
Sure. Which was all delicious. I have listened to a few episodes of this podcast. I've self-admittedly not the hugest podcast absorber. But of course, when you get ready to come on things, you want to do your homework. And hearing a lot of the menus, and I guess I do also follow you guys on Instagram. And hearing the menus, I'm always like, yeah, I can't wait. Like, it's always really fun to be in this industry and have other people cook food for you. But when it's this good, it's vacation.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel like we have two different fan bases. I feel like we have the people that listen to the podcast and the people that just like to look at pictures of food on Instagram. So I appreciate both, like what support,
Yeah.
And some of our events people come to and I'm like, wow, you guys fans of the podcast? Like, you guys have a podcast too? Like, did you come?
You're not just making food on the pictures. I don't get it.
But if you come out to an event just because you like pictures, I mean, you will never hear this. But if you come out because you're just like pictures of food, like I'm fine with that. So, and you were asking me earlier about, I like themes.
Sure.
I like it makes it fun for me, and it kind of helps because of what happens after a while is like. After the first year, I kind of cooked all the things that I had on my list to cook that I really wanted to like get out and cook. And then some weeks I'm just, I work 2 jobs, I do comedy. We have other podcasts, like just, lots of stuff going on. And sometimes it's Thursday and I'm like, what am I doing on Sunday again? So, like kind of marrying myself to a theme is, it makes it fun and it kind of whittles down some, crazy ideas. And then, I definitely, there has been some brunches where it's been so all over the place that like, if you don't have a theme, it seems bizarre.
Yeah.
But then you can be like, no, this was the theme. And they're like, oh, okay, this makes sense why we just ate.
Yeah. People usually get up and leave when there's not a theme. Like, what is this?
What is this?
The 6-course meal.
Bush League. Man, today was, usually I have Zach helping too, not just a producer, but also a whiz in the kitchen. So today was one of the smaller. We only did 4 courses.
I'm still so full.
But
Yeah, no one's bad.
lots of food. Usually people are mad by the end of it. That's how I know it. It's just like when that last course comes out, people. Sometimes one of my favorite things that I'll do is like we'll bring out dessert, but it's not the last course. That's so everyone's just
Like,
sitting
oh, by the
there.
way, I haven't finished the meal yet. You guys are going to have some pizza later?
Yeah, like what? What are we doing? So these were just kind of riffs on. I love Mexican food. I don't know many people that don't, but love Mexican food. We've done it. There's certain things that have been come up often. I do something in New Orleans probably every quarter.
Okay.
Mexican food comes up, about the same.
Nice.
But so I was trying to do some different takes on it, and I have this giant kind of running list of things, and I was going through it, and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of Mexican food items that are like, oh, I want to do this but make it weird, or like I want to do this and mash it up. And one of them was the birria tacos, but I wanted to do it with like in a melt almost.
Sure.
You know,
Man.
I won't call it a grilled cheese because there's meat on there, but that's a whole side argument about
Yeah.
what constitutes a grilled
Yeah,
cheese.
it's kind of unfair to bring that argument up when Zach is gone with his baby, his newborn baby. That's a low blow. Can we get a boo on that?
Yeah. There we go.
Can you give yourself a boo for how long that took?
Yeah, there we
There
go.
it is, yeah.
I should have taken extra long with that one.
Chef had some jokes I feel like definitely could have used the drop on a couple of times. We just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to hit that button. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
And then the chicken and waffles. So I did
Shredded chicken and waffles.
yeah, I tried to do it. Shredded we had fried chicken last week, and I was trying to keep it more in the line of Mexican, and I was like also trying to do like a churro kind of waffle. What am I missing here?
Which you did pair a beer with that. What did you pair with that?
Yeah, so that was that horchata stout because we had the cinnamon and sugar on the waffle, and then of course the spice from the chicken, little scorpion honey on there as well. Shout out Metal Honey Foods, delicious stuff. But with that kind of super dark brown sugary, almost maple flavored barrel aged beer, and then we added there's literally like a tea company that we work with at the brewery that. If you had fruit punch tea, it would contain like 17 different kinds of fruit and like a little bit of tea. So this was an almond cinnamon tea, and then it actually did have almonds and cinnamon. So you got the kind of creaminess that a horchata would normally have, but like with the spice, and it almost had like this chicken mole thing kind of running through it, and it was awesome. And that's always a wonderful part of my job, is to take food from chefs that do their job spectacularly and take beer that is already also crafted spectacularly, and all I got to do is just connect the two dots. Like I don't have any credit on either ones of those ends, but I get the opportunity just to connect the two, and like it's a really great experience.
Yeah.
And that's always something I really loved.
And did Tres Leches French toast, and I used some of the horchata beer in the French toast.
Oh, you poured beer on the toast?
Like in the
batter.
Oh, in the batter.
Yeah.
Which is also funny because we're taking a beer that we already paired with one of the courses, and then we use that in a course that we paired with a completely different beer, and it still worked perfectly.
That's great.
I mean, anytime you want to come and bring a bunch of beer, do pairings, you're more than welcome to. Most of the people on this show just came over once and just never left. That's kind of how it works out. And then just a Huevos Rancheros. Why not? You know, I don't think anyone's ever mad at Huevos Rancheros.
Crispy fried tortillas, perfectly poached eggs, beans, cheese. Awesome. Delicious.
It's one of my favorite dishes to make because I feel like as long as you have eggs and some sort of tortilla. Yeah, like I've never had it the same way twice. Like any place I go,
I would 100% agree. And it's also
different.
like that chilaquiles line too, right? Like even if it is flour tortilla versus corn tortilla, if it's red versus green, if it's white with like the kind of borracho beans and that creaminess, you can call it the same thing, but it's like 17 different dishes.
Yeah,
like in the best way possible, and it's that marriage of like fried food plus like saucy things plus eggs. Like it's brunch personified, right?
Now, was that duck egg?
those were actually just regular chicken.
Oh, God.
Usually,
Just regular human eggs. Actually.
Oh.
human roe. We did a thing for a while, or for a long time. The duck egg was like my signature in something. It was like, find the Playboy bunny. There's like a duck egg somewhere in this meal.
Yeah. Now, I will say that dish was so beautiful that people were scared to eat it. Like, you'll see the pictures, but people did not want to jump in. Gabby was over there, like, looking at it, like, should I touch this? And, like, you just jumped in there, right? Like, let's go.
Well, it's you get to add the nacho like property to that. If you take the one chip and 7 come with it, that's your bite.
That's your bite.
Like
yeah.
that's the end of it. So if you just try to kind of like cherry pick yourself around the situation, it's not the full dish.
Can't
So-
be a baby about
and
nachos.
just, grab your fork like it is a shovel, take a quarter of the damn thing and just go for it.
Yeah, that's what I say. Doggone it.
Just dig in.
I wish there was a clap button. Well, there is. But anyways, yeah.
But yeah, they were. I mean, everything was super delicious, and that's always one of the things too. Is like, I guess I've officially worked in the culinary scene here in Indy for goodness, like 15 or 16 years now. And I have lots of friends I've met because of that. So they're always afraid to cook me food. And I'm like, look, if you like it, I like it too. Like, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's I think we all get that kind of in places, and I'm like, look, obviously most people like got into the cooking game, got it because they like food,
Right.
and they enjoy eating, and we get so tired of eating our own food
100%.
that like literally anybody's like, hey, this is different than I would make it.
Right.
This is great.
Yeah. Like, congratulations on at least just like putting your own spin on anything because it's delicious because I don't have to make it.
Yeah. Now, what I won't do is I won't try to do overly complicated things and possibly not hit the mark right and look like a fool.
I have a very fun story about that. So I guess we'll tap into the backstory a little bit. My wonderful wife Jenna is the owner of Four Birds Bakery, and occasionally I get to do stuff for her. And I made these Portuguese.
This is a
pastiche.
family podcast, dude.
Wow. Made some Portuguese pastiche de nata, the wonderful egg tart that is super flaky on the outside, super creamy on the inside, and it did not turn out the way I wanted to, and we still had to sell them. And so on the box, they were labeled disappointing egg tarts. So every single time I had to go grab one for someone, I was reminded about how terrible they were, at least according to me. But
Yeah.
like, people were like, oh my God, these were amazing. And well, that's because you can't actually get this anywhere. But like, I made them just a couple weeks ago and they were like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But like this time, I'm just like, fucking disappointing egg tarts. Like, you just see it every single time. Like, yeah.
The same kind of goes in comedy. Like, it's best to be the most self-aware. Like, the worst comics are people that don't know they're terrible, or you don't know when a joke doesn't go well, and you're like, killed it, like did it again. And all of that comes from comedy. It goes into cooking too.
Yep.
So it's like, I can't put out some dog shit and be like, this is great, everybody, right? Everyone loves this.
This is the best thing I ever made.
If there's a glaring flaw, I'm usually the first one to be like, hey, look, this wasn't what I had in mind.
Yep.
Gotta let you know.
What hurts worse, a bomb or a bomb with food?
Food. You can recover from funny. You can't recover from like something that like didn't work out the way you wanted to
Yeah.
on the plate. Like,
It's- yeah.
the second and third joke can always make up for like the worst one, at
Right.
least as far as like, of course, again, this is my world.
Yeah.
It's like from the chef side of things. Like, if I put out something I'm not as happy with, like there's something that's gone completely wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I try, obviously, although the goal is to never put out anything that you don't hate. But at the end of the day, like, sometimes like you might just hate it just enough to like wear at you for like 1,000 years. But yeah.
Also, doing comedy, you're like a clown, right? Like, you're like at the end of the day, you're a professional clown. So if you mess up a joke or whatever, it's you may beat yourself up a little bit. It sucks, but it's just like, hey, I was clowning around and I didn't quite. But when you're cooking at a professional level, like, you're supposed to be presenting yourself as this learned person who knows what they're doing and is executing something on this high level. I literally had two. I think I bombed so hard at the opening of my food truck that it kind of made me just like Teflon to like any kind of comedy bombing. Like, I don't like bombing a comedy, but I had like the worst professional day of my life, like in food, and nothing has come close to that in comedy.
Really? Okay.
Like, the feeling of how awful that was.
100%.
Nothing has even come to a fraction of the close to feeling that bad.
And I guess with food too, you could also kill somebody. Like, you could literally take them off this planet.
Technically, yes. Yeah.
So it's a little bit more potent. Of a
I've
bomb.
heard some of Tyler's jokes though. He might.
Well, they take themselves off the planet.
Well, honestly, that's just payback for the second round of strawberries. Really, honestly, like at this point, it just kind of feels like it's on purpose.
He's deathly allergic, and I
Did you put strawberries on his French toast?
not on his.
Nope, not on yours.
On everyone else's.
Right. It's not deathly allergic. It's more of a mild inconvenience. I just like to play it up so people feel bad. For me. It's a good feeling.
It took me a while to remember Bridget's all of her food allergies, and now I'm working on Tyler. So he's still alive. Look at him. He looks resilient.
Yep.
He's got like the good like flush cheek face. Like, he's feeling right.
Probably some of those strawberries.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's actually.
He's like, he's about 30 seconds away from going into anaphylactic shock. It's great. Good.
Who brought the EpiPen? Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Ooh, that'd be a good merch. Hearty Brunch.
Welcome back to the Heart of Brunch podcast. Man, what a crazy break.
Yeah. We punched a guy.
I know. I think he's dead. You know what was crazy? Thad and I went to Shake Shack for lunch yesterday, and I'm sitting there and I'm telling him this story. It wasn't like a great story, but it was like okay. It was like enough that you would like
Pay attention to,
maintain eye contact, all that. Yeah. And he just keeps drifting off. Like obviously, look at me. I was like, "What's her name?" Like obviously, there's someone hot behind me because he cannot focus on me.
She was hot.
She was hot in a way.
I thought it might have just been a mirror. Like he was just looking at himself and he was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. She was having a heat stroke or something. There was this lady that just collapsed right behind, and everybody in Shake Shack is still eating. And like, there's this lady like just collapsing. I don't know if she's having a sugar overdose or a heat stroke or what, but I was just like amazed like the whole time how people kept stuffing their face. And I was like, man, like even like in Haiti, like we would be like, hey, like we need to stop eating right now.
Shout out Hoosier Hospitality right there.
Right, there's someone about to die. Yeah. Like,
I think it's a thing where everyone assumes someone else is doing something about it.
100%.
And then no one does anything about it because like no one from Shake Shack. I don't think anyone from Shake Shack actually did anything. No, maybe somebody called like, but like her family didn't seem that concerned about it either. So I was like,
oh, that's just Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah has spells. She's just having another spell.
Yes, it's also 1924. At a Shake Shack. You'd be like, oh no, it's fine. She just has her spells.
Yeah. At the end, I asked like, hey, he's like, is she okay? And he's like, I'm fine. I was like, wait, I didn't even ask. I didn't ask about you.
Yeah.
But like it was
your day ruined by this?
Yeah, they're still getting their food. They're like, get up, and she's like passing out, and like, all right, this is embarrassing. It's not that embarrassing. Just get her some call 911. They called 911, and the emergency people went straight to the order counter. And I was like, are they really going to get food? Is that how good Shake Shack is?
We know how long this takes. Yeah. We got to order our food first, help the lady, and then jump back in.
So, switching big gears. Did you used to work at Chef JJ? Is that?
I did. So we can briefly talk about my wonderful chef lineage here in Indianapolis. So I, unlike some of the people on this podcast, am not classically trained. I've never gone to culinary school. So shout out to all of my homies. Just kidding. It might just be me that are successful in the world, but. So I started up in Fort Wayne at this place called the Summit Club. It was on the top 2 floors of a 26-story building, and it was an old school dining club. Like people came there for lunch. People would also obviously like host dinners and stuff like that up there. They were like, that was when I did my first ever beer dinner. So that was my culinary school. Like I literally started slicing deli meat and making freaking potato salad for the lunch program, and then you would kind of move up. Moved here to Indianapolis, did the country club life for a little bit. Meridian Hills and Crooked Stick. So, taking care of way too much money, serving them chicken fingers and French fries and fucking just everything else that comes along with that. And then, yes, the opportunity came about to work at Chef JJ's. For those of you that aren't familiar in the world, it started out as a Big Green Egg centered restaurant up in Broad Ripple that blew up to a second location downtown. A lot of the stuff is still cooked on the Big Green Egg, but he gets to host some really awesome events there. Beer dinners, comedy shows, like all sorts of really fun stuff. And that's actually where I met Jenna, who I'm now married to.
Really?
She used to be my boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a Me Too situation? Are we canceling her right now?
Absolutely not. No, she very much, hit it.
Shame.
Yeah. I first interviewed there. And she's going to hate that I'm telling this story, but I don't really give a shit. And she was on like an off day and just like ran through the business to like do something real quick. And she was wearing a very nice dress. She's a very attractive woman. So I at least get points for that. And I was like, who is that? And they're like, that's your boss. And I was like, still kind of the asshole chef.
No way.
Yeah. Still kind of the asshole chef. So I like the first, year or so of me working there, it was kind of turmoil. And we finally were able to have the conversation of like why you don't like me. And she, of course, was like, because you're an asshole chef. And I was like, well, cool.
Oh, this is a whole Sam and Diane situation.
Very much so.
Right.
Yeah, very, very cheersy. And I was like, no, it's actually because I like you. And I was just trying to like puff my feathers and be an asshole, I guess.
Peacocking.
And
Toxic masculinity was still in vogue back then.
Very much so. And we just, it of course ended up like hanging out for a little bit. Now we have a kid together. Yeah.
Wait, you skipped a part. Where did you find the kid?
Do we need to go through the anatomy of how this works?
Well, like we didn't even get to the fall in love part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So,
So you're an asshole chef. You're like, here's a kid.
yeah.
And now he's graduating from college.
But at Chef JJ's, if you are familiar with the program, it's a very chef like forward experience.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure a lot of the guys you bring in, for them to go out into the dining room and actually present them as themselves is kind of like a hard thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was always okay with talking to people just through, I guess, past experiences in theater and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I was okay in like with being in front of people, but like when it comes to your food, and we had briefly talked about this kind of offline, like you gotta, like, this is just not chilaquiles or like Huevos Rancheros on a plate. Like that's you.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to go out there and own that. And then not only do you have to own that, you have to explain how you did it and kind of keep them engaged, like a comedian, like a host for hours, sometime on end. And so I was able to do the Chef JJ's thing for about 4.5 years. And that's where my relationship with the guys at Sun King grew, and they stole me away, and I've been there ever since. So
So I got 2 questions.
yes.
One is about your wife like, and whatnot. Like, how did you like? You work at Chef JJ's. It's like one of the best restaurants.
Dad's looking for a hot boss.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. No, need a hot boss now. Dyke isn't cutting it. Here's the thing. No, so like, where do you take her out on a date? Because you have the best restaurant in Indianapolis. So where do you go?
Oh,
first date?
that's awesome. So even when we first started dating, we would try to go as many places as possible here in Indy. And if we were to travel to a different city, we actually like go online and try to figure out, what's what. We have a spreadsheet now. That's a full blown Excel spreadsheet of different cities that we've ever been to, the places that we've gone or the places that we want to go, their menus, kind of a rating system that we can also hand off to other people because that is, I guess, what 2 chefs like to do, but we don't necessarily want to know what the creme de la creme of a city is. Like, we want to know like the bones of it.
Yeah, where the locals are.
Show me the good donut shop. Show me the good deli. Show me the good, like random ethnic food places. Like, show me the heart and soul of the city.
Yeah.
As opposed to like
People called me a random ethnic when I was in high school, and I didn't like it.
I mean, you did. I remember from the Instagram post on the quick story, you had the chili mulatto, and I was like, no, that's just when Dyke is cold.
That's our word. How dare you, sir?
Drop the bomb.
Oh yeah, there we go. Now I feel like I'm at home here. But yes, so what 2 chefs do when we go out and try to have fun in a city is see everything. Like, yes, we occasionally do the really fun, expensive stuff, but it is more about like the booze, like the simple things. Of course, the bakery. She is a trained pastry chef, and it's all about the little things. Like, it's all about the things that make a city a city. Awesome. And it's all about different neighborhoods. It's all about seeing everything. And when we do go to a place, I mean, we just went to Columbus back in December. We were there for 4 days, I think. We did like 19 different restaurants.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Like,
wow.
No question.
Wow, that's a lot.
So you go to the one place, the thing that they're famous for, and you grab it. And then if it's delicious, maybe you get something else to like eat later. But for the most part, it is just try to like figure out where to go via the city, via other people. And of course, the second you go to the first place, you talk to one person, you have like 8 more places to go. So it just kind of snowballs from there.
That would be a fun, like, that's like a fun movie. We should just get a quick, like, short indie love story about you guys going to different restaurants and falling in love and sharing food. I'm starting to get turned on.
Starting? I'm done.
The second question was, what is it like to cook on the green egg?
It's amazing. I guess because I was kind of the outsider. So like normal professional chef coming into a place that literally only cooks on it until he moved downtown. Like, you had to learn to fry chicken, to like anything that you could imagine, from baked goods to appetizers. Like, you just have to figure it out. Okay. Like, the egg is a wonderful cooking vessel. And I've of course been exposed to many other ones, but all by itself, it has the ability to, smoke things, pizza, like anything that we could imagine that is food, we had to figure out how to do on the grill. So it was a wonderful challenge, of course. And then after, like, once you kind of get to know like how everything works, like it's just second nature.
Love it. Chef JJ's, guys, it's a wonderful restaurant downtown. We do a annual comedy show. Dyke's been on it. Tyler has not. But yeah, come
Tyler
out.
will never be on that show.
You just keep telling me to be better, and I don't know how to do that.
It's not very constructive criticism, but no, come out to it. It's really fun.
I mean, you'll have to buy a ticket if you want to see it, Tyler. You'll never see it from the other side.
Understandable. I wouldn't book me either.
The food is amazing. He always does a really good job of taking care of local things if he's not already making it in house. And it's right there, like just down from Lucas Oil. It's an awesome place.
One of the things it's you don't see that there can't be that many chef power couples like in the country. Like there has to be a limited finite amount. I'm sure
the
it
fact
happens.
that you're calling us a power couple means that we have influence over everything, and of course we don't.
Okay. Let me dial that back. But just like two super talented people in different ways. And I will say, like, I told you this off air, but I was like, I literally have an addiction to your wife's cookies.
Oh, thank you.
Like, and you brought some in that seemed somehow fresher than the ones that I eat at work. I don't know. Like, I was just like, this is somehow different than the ones I steal from work. So good.
Thank you. So that is also another happenstance. Just as a quick story, Jen and I were looking at starting a different company altogether. And we kind of told our friends at the time, Eli and Nicole Anderson, who used to own H2O Sushi here in Indianapolis, also RIP, one of those like OG amazing restaurants, that we wanted to start our own kind of sauce, pickle, jam, like sweet and savory business. And they were like, well, we're selling Four Birds, and we think Jenna's kind of the perfect candidate for this. And so you're just going to have to figure that out. And kind of long story short, we took about 6 months and molded over and tried to figure everything else out. And of course, took hold of it. She's been the owner of Four Birds for now almost 5 years, or I guess a little over 5 years, and has crushed it. There were 19 locations that they delivered to when she took over the business. She's now, I think, almost into the 50s of places from Westfield all the way down to Greenwood that she delivers her products to. So she crushes it. Shout out to women-owned businesses, especially her, but she murders it.
And from also like picking up, like I'd never heard of Four Birds before she was involved with it, and like no shade to whoever owned it previously, but she is obviously and definitely taken this like to a completely different level.
That was always the hope, and that was also one of those questions that we had is like, if we take over this business, do we just completely rename it and try to make it our own? And of course, when you have branding, when you have everything, when you're essentially when you purchase a package, like you try to take care of it as best as you can. So the original Four Birds, just as a quick story, were about Eli and Nicole's 4 kids. So we only have one bird. And then working in farmers markets and all that wonderful stuff, you get the obvious questions at least once a year. And shout out to farmers markets. We've only done it once this year in 2022. And we've already had the question, are these cookies for birds? What? But
They can be.
I mean, they can be.
I mean,
you are more than welcome to spend all of that money on delicious cookies and then break them up and put them on your lawn if you want to. But these are definitely for human consumption.
right.
I did want to say that there's like sometimes with a culinary professional, there's one thing that you kind of associate them with. And I had a defunct show before Heart of Brunch called Smash Indie, and it was we shot an entire season.
Yep.
Never saw one episode of it.
Nope. I was actually going to ask you about that after this. Is like, because
I got a lot of failures.
Yeah.
I got a lot of failures.
I specifically remember that episode because we did film it at the brewery when I first started there, and we did a couple different things. I had a Bob Ross themed
That was the dish.
plate, and then we all came together and did a hot ham water ramen.
Yeah.
Wait, hot ham ramen?
Hot ham water from
Oh,
Arrested
hot ham.
Development as a ramen dish. So we had 3 different kind of smoked meats. I think mine was smoked salmon. We had smoked ham and smoked something else. We combined all of those into like a ramen broth and then like finished the whole thing.
We were playing with ramen broth like a craft bartender. I remember
100%.
This much. Okay, we need a little bit more. But the dish that really, I mean, I would say in like the top 10 things that I've just seen in person that really impressed me. Yeah, it was TV shows with the theme, and he picked. So we each did our own course, and then we all contributed to the entree. And so the ramen was the entree that we all did together, but he pulled the soup/salad course, and he did this dish. I'll let you explain it. Here's a photo of it.
You might need to see that actually because it's been so long and I've had way too many beers and
But it basically was Bob Ross was
It was the joy of plating.
the joy.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. All right.
and it
So I'm guessing. So we had some sort of like mosh, fried chicken skin. Of course, we had a paint from a few different like roasted vegetables and stuff like that, and that's how we started that whole thing. Is that we made this like really beautiful canvas on the plate of like different like roasted vegetables, and then we put this really beautiful salad of like fried chicken skin and mosh and a whole bunch of stuff over there. I need to you send me that at some point.
And basically, when you were done eating, like it looked obviously beautiful, but when you were done eating it, it looked like an abstract painting.
Yep.
Like the plate that you left behind. And I was just like, conceptually, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, you put so much thought into this dish that like he thought about what it was going to look like when you were done eating, and it still fit the theme. Like, I'm a sucker for a theme.
Yeah.
Obviously. So like when you execute like that, I was just like, wow.
I am 100% as well. And I think we kind of briefly talked about this upstairs, just hanging out while you were cooking me a delicious brunch, is that like when I get sucked into something, because I don't have the culinary background that I do, is that I try to absorb everything, like every single ounce of my like culinary body into something, like whether it's pizza or pupusas or salad, like a silly salad, like, but you want to take everything about that and like just try to suck as much energy into it and then put it on the plate. And I still thank you for that, because it was still one of the coolest things I ever got to do. Even like, I'm just starting at Sun King. I already have this amazing dream job. I do, as a chef, work 5 days a week from like 2 or 6 in the morning to like 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, that's early.
That's it. That's everything.
That's early though.
But of course, because my wife does own 4 birds, I get to help with all of the breakfast sandwiches for farmers markets and some conceptual stuff.
And you
there.
guys,
So,
you guys found that baby.
yeah, we have a baby, 14
I
weeks.
still don't know where it came from, but
Yeah, well, that's a different podcast,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
But yes, little Juniper Marie is in the world, and she's adorable as ever. She's if you are familiar with babies out there, they're not supposed to start teething until like almost 6 months old. She's a little over 3 months and has already started.
Head of the curve.
I told her she was fast tracking herself into being an only child, and she didn't really appreciate that either. So, but yeah, kids are crazy, but they're also a lot of fun when you have the ability to have a job in the culinary world and still enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what owning your own business does. Juniper still goes to Jenna with the bakery every single day. So she'll be as immersed into that culture as a human. Hopefully she decides to go golfing or do anything else.
I would start teething too if both of my parents were like cooks.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you guys, I'm like, all right, let's get this in my
that absolutely
mouth.
has been the running joke. She's been trying to get off the boob as fast as humanly possible, just so she can taste our food.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as that tooth pops out, it's over. Sorry, kiddo.
careful. There's that breast milk shortage. Never mind.
Oh yes,
There's a what?
Not breast milk shortage.
there's a formula shortage. Yes,
Oh, I was like, I didn't know about the breast milk shortage.
For those that can feed, congratulations. For those that don't, yes, there is. Yeah, absolutely a terrible shortage right now that they're going through. So
I have a bunch of stuff.
we'll just cut that out.
No, I have a bunch of. I did have a bunch of random stuff out here. One of the things was that there was. I don't know if you saw this. There was a cooking oil, a global cooking oil shortage. Not necessarily people in North America affected by it, but like the entire rest of the world that uses palm oil.
Yep.
Is being like massively affected by
And
it.
that's all kind of directly related to the deforestation in the Amazon. Is that correct?
I heard more of the war in Ukraine.
Well, that's also a wheat shortage. So if you can imagine a bakery, we all think of cookies as flour, butter, sugar, eggs. If you can imagine the price of those things going up like sometimes 2-3-fold in the matter of just a couple of months, that's not fun. On top of the fact that we're trying to pay everybody as much as humanly possible because we want to take care of all the people that take care of us. But when your eggs go from $15 15 dozen to $42 for 15 dozen, it's rough out there, especially for a bakery specifically, because the stigma always was you're just taking very few ingredients, adding a whole bunch of technique, and then all of a sudden you have cookies. Like now you're just taking really expensive things and trying to take care of them and trying to make sure there's not a single bit of loss anywhere. Because especially with a very consistent product, like you're trying to make sure if you even leave that cookie in the oven for 2 minutes longer,
It's done.
it's done. That's
Man,
it.
I didn't even know that was like a metric.
Yeah, the wheat thing, flour's gone up probably like a good 125, 150% in the last just couple of months because of a wheat shortage. Eggs, because of bird flu. Like there are so many things that affect the thing that we do that we can't control. It's like, of course, you can't stop the bird flu from flying through when there are 60,000 chickens under a tiny little roof. Like you can't stop that, but you have to pay for it.
What do you do? Because you like somebody who I think is self-taught or doesn't go to school, but like immerses themselves in that. Outside of being a parent, outside of being a partner, outside of being a chef, what do you actually immerse yourself in just for fun for you as a human being?
That's a good question. A little bit of just like comedy. I think I've tried to immerse myself a little bit more in what's going on. Like I'm terrible at it locally. I'll apologize for everybody in the room. I also do have a kid, so like the chances of me going to a comedy show, like the good ones, are pretty much shit unless we eventually find a babysitter, and that'll be great. But outside of that, like it's just learning what everybody else is doing. Like it is still very food based. Like awesome. I still watch as many YouTube videos from other chefs and try to gather as many techniques as possible, because when I do hang out with friends, like most of the time it's food based. We all gather around dinner as opposed to gathering around a beer or gathering around a distillate or anything, like literally anything else. Like the reason that we all gather is because of food. And when I see something that I love and I'm not good at it, like I just dump everything in, like buy the thing, figure out the flour, like try to find the fun ingredient from all over the place to figure out the best way to do anything.
That's awesome. And I love that, because that is a good answer, because you travel in packs, stone makers, they travel together, people, blacksmiths back in the day, they all had their shops. Cooks, comedians often travel together, podcasters, bird watchers, if you will. I think that's it.
No, that's actually it. Those are the only people that gather, right? But no, we're very fortunate because Dak and I were also talking, like we're kind of on the fringe of the food people in this city. Like I obviously don't have the moxie or the hours or the time to hang out with chefs until like 2 a.m. outside of the restaurants. And
you have a kid.
That sounds awful.
Not even having a kid, I have a life. Like, I still go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, like obviously, and there's the whole other like beer world, and I still am very like kind of green in that whole thing, just because they also hang out similarly.
Yeah.
And so it's just like two groups that I'm never really going to be a part of, but I have really good friends, and awesome people that invite me on their podcast to cook dinner with and like bounce ideas off of. And, we have a really awesome farmer friend, that has a little place down in Greenwood. So I get really great ingredients, and it's just the opportunity to creatively, I guess, do as much as possible without like, I don't know, alienating myself. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm always looking for more people to, like, usually like once every 2 weeks or so, I just crowdsource between all my talented friends. Like, hey, I'm trying to, like, I get food writer's block a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm just like, I just need to see something. I need to hear something that's not in my own brain.
100%.
Just so I can start thinking in a different way.
And even though I'm literally just cooking lunch for a whole bunch of people that I've been cooking the same lunches for 6 years, like I still go to all of them every single week and be like, hey, it's been like, I really try to not to repeat a menu until it's been 3 months. Like, so I literally have a doc sheet, Google Doc that's like 60 pages long now of all of the menus that I've done for them.
Oh, wow.
And so that way I can go back in time. I'm like, oh, all right, it's summer. Let's try to figure out some stuff that's not as heavy. And, or, it's been exactly 12 months since I've done Filipino adobo for these kids. Like, and I get to rehash that. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Tyler, can you drop a beat for me? Yep. Oh my gosh. This has been so much fun.
Thank you guys. I hope any of this was interesting to anyone.
It is. Look, we get two groups of people that listen to this podcast. You're either comedy nerds or food nerds, and hopefully most people exist somewhere in between. Because I I feel like both ends of that spectrum, if you go too far, just unbearable.
Absolutely.
But anything you'd like to promote or anything you'd like people to follow and keep up on social media?
Absolutely. I'm just Steven Unruh on all of my things, just the Twitter and the Instagram. There's nothing happening there. So please follow Four Birds Bakery. So it's at Four Birds at pretty much all of their stuff. We're at the Garfield Park Farmers Market every other week selling breakfast sandwiches. And I would love to see as many people out from that more than anything. Then, of course, everything at Sun King Brewing. We've got 2 new locations popping up, one in Sarasota, Florida in the next couple of months. And then we're going all the way up to Mishawaka. But you can also find us at Kokomo, Carmel Fishers, downtown Indianapolis, and the airport.
It's crazy. I started downtown, like working downtown in 2010 when Sun King was like a year old, and like just to hear you like we're in Florida. And,
Florida's taken really good care of us. Obviously, I don't know if it's like the whole Sunshine State Sun King thing, but we are opening up a small microbrewery there in just a couple of months, and it'll be a lot of fun. You'll be able to get our beer. I mean, I know there's a lot of snowbirds from Indiana that go down there, so that was kind of the thing that started it. And it's been a lot of fun. But I think that's just kind of where beer is anyway. Like the more tap rooms you can have, the more pints you can put in people's hands versus cans. That's the way to go. So we got all the things.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Tyler Waltz.
Thank you guys, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for
This is a tremendous amount of fun.
Awesome. I've had fun. Tyler, you did way better than Thad gave you credit for.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I had faith in you the whole time.
It didn't sound like it upstairs at all, actually.
I was really pulling for you. It was a whole back and forth, but where can people find you and follow you on social media?
If you want to follow me personally, it's everywhere at Tyler Waltz Comedy. If you want to see my other show, it is Nerd News. You can find me on that as well.
And that has been very inconsistently funny.
Yeah, that's good. That's my whole shtick is actually just, tune in as much as possible. You might laugh once.
Daddy's Jay.
You can find me at Four Birds.
Yes!
In a dumpster behind.
Because y'all know I'm a pastry boy.
He is.
And so
He's a
I'm going to
pastry
be
boy.
eating all those pastries. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
All right. And again, Brunch Nation. Look, if we tell you about some dope shit, jump on it. We're going to be doing some fun stuff this summer. We're going to be doing a couple of pop-ups. Some secret stuff is coming down. So be a part about it. Be a part about it.
Be a part about it is what we always say. It's a sentence.
Look out for my new merch. Be a part about it.
Be a part about it.
And we'll see you next time.